On this episode, we talk to the guy that used to be the guy. My guest is Marcell, and he's undergone a remarkable transformation, a serious upgrade from his former self. See, when I first met him, he was deep into alcoholism. And unbeknownst to me, he was navigating his life from the confines of a closet, wrapped up in a persona fueled by his ego and drowned in drinks. However, Marcell found inspiration to get sober just in time for significant life changes, such as the passing of his brother and the arrival of his child. We also talk about the underrepresentation of Black men in yoga. Let's jump in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a Moderately Good podcast. As always, before I get started, I'm going to do all my sponsor shout outs. So shout out Joe Andrade Media. He takes all my cool pictures and makes me look cool on Instagram. Wish Pocket, that's my guy Jason. He does all the audio. No Names Originals, that's my guy Jaron. He's a North Carolina support, North Carolina artist. I have some of his art here in the garage. My guy Mo has the Go Bubble app, and if you use the promo code Go Moderately, you get a discount. Lone Sun Decor, that's my guy Peyton, and he does cool art on wood. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're into Aztec stuff, you like lacquered wood stuff, he does really cool stuff. He does cool stickers. He's done shirts for me. And then last but not least, my guy David, aka Cupcake over at Shiner Saloon. Thank you for providing food and booze for this whole deal. I really appreciate it. And shout out to Shiners. Go see them if you're downtown. You can go if you drink or not drink, right? Marcell?
Absolutely.
There's no shame.
I love Shiner Saloon.
How you like it?
I love Shiner. It was one of Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. It was one of the first bands I saw a long time ago.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow. As y'all have already heard, this is my guy, Marcell. Marcell, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, so give out all your shout outs for all the things you can give out, like your Instagrams and everything that you're into right now.
Thank you. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be sober. I just want to shout out Athletic Brewing, ambassador for Athletic Brewing, NA beer that you can drink at any times, whether you're sober curious or drinking or just thirsty. Athletic Brewing.
Yeah, non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic beer.
Lifesaver for people that decide that they don't want to drink anymore, right?
Absolutely. I have a non-alcoholic IPA here, actually. IPA.
Yeah.
The strongest beer normally that you would get is non-alcoholic.
And now you just pretend to have it the strongest beer that you've ever had.
Actually, yes, that's exactly true. Hophead for life. And also, I want to give a shout out to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
And TikTok and social media, Soulful Bites ATX.
On all of them?
Yes, Soulful Bites. Soulful Bites. SOULFUL Bites ATX. Yes, that is where on Deliciously Healing Journey is where I'm on right now.
How awesome is it when you can get all of them? You know what I mean? Because like sometimes like you try to get something on Instagram and YouTube and then you can't get them all. And you're like, God dang it, like this one's going to have to be Soulful Bites ATX.
I got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
Yes, the ATX helps on that one. And then last but not least, Ben's Friends is a food and beverage, sober community, sober curious, or just ones that just want to maybe have a place to just talk about how they feel. Once again, Ben's Friends. That's
awesome.
all I got.
I was really like, I was really excited to hear that there was like a sober place for guys that struggle with working downtown. That like the people that decided that they didn't want to drink anymore banded together to stay downtown and keep working jobs, but not have to feel the pressure to drink.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It meets on Mondays at Commodore Restaurant downtown at 11 a.m. Commodore Restaurant. And also one last shout out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Commodore Run Club meets on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Commodore Run Club. That's been amazing. You don't have to be a Olympic runner. It's a 1, 2, or 3 mile. You have options. Meet at 10 a.m. You can just pull up and yeah.
Do you have to like running?
You don't have to like running at all.
I don't like running.
We start together. We finish together. You can walk it if you want to.
Yeah.
I hate running.
Yeah. Really?
It's hot too.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what I want to know about this. This Burger Quest. Or would you? Is that what you took?
Burger Odyssey.
A Burger Odyssey. Yes. Tell me about this Burger Odyssey.
Yeah. So one, as far as food wise, I've always been enamored with food, and then you always see these lists that come out, and I'm always like, one, I come from the food and beverage industry. I know how to get on those lists sometimes, and oftentimes you can pay to be on those lists. So Austin Monthly came out with a top 35 burgers in Austin, and some of the names on there I recognize as far as locations and such, and then some of them I didn't recognize. And I also felt there were some burgers out there that necessarily wasn't on the list that should have been out there, that should have been on there, food truck wise and such. And so I was like, you know what? I was talking to somebody in San Diego. I was actually at a vegan restaurant. I was at Kindred in San Diego, probably one of the best vegan restaurants that I've ever been to. I actually had I had an egg roll burger there, an Impossible Burger, and the bartender had. We started talking. I told him I was from Austin, and he referenced Nickel City, and that's how I knew he knew Austin. Like if you knew Nickel City, you know Austin
For sure.
especially like good spots. And we just started talking, and then food came up and talked about what the favorite burger was, and it kind of just went down a wormhole. And then the Austin Monthly, as I was googling some stuff, I was like, man, like what is the best burger now? Like what are some of the people saying? And then like there's so many different categories. Like what is a burger now? What's a smash burger? Like I mean, within I feel like the last like 3 years, smash burgers have gotten big. And so I'm like, well, what was the best burger? And then that's when I found the article, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go try every burger on this list. And so that's what I'm doing. There's a vegan category, there's a fancy burger category, casual, and then smash burger. But they don't actually name which one's the best burger. They don't actually rank them at all. They just say what the 35 best burgers of Austin is.
Okay, how many have you tried?
I'm at 2 right now.
Okay,
I'm going to my 3rd one today.
Okay, so what are the three you've tried? P. Terry's, because we ate P. Terry's.
Yeah, P. Terry's. Surprisingly, P. Terry's is not on the Austin Monthly list at all. But P. Terry's is no, it's not on the list at all. P. Terry's is one of my personal favorites. It's like one of the yeah.
Does that feel like somebody has a vendetta towards like P. Terry's?
P. Terry's or Whataburger wasn't on there.
Well, I kind of understand why Whataburger.
I understand Whataburger,
but like
too.
P. Terry's is from Austin. It's Austin Monthly.
Yeah,
and like people really like. I don't know if you've seen, but they build a shit ton of P. Terry's.
Absolutely.
So people must be eating there, and it's not on the list.
Not even.
Oh, I smell a rat, man.
And so I'm like, okay. And I went to Carpenter's Hall yesterday. That burger was fire. It actually, honestly, when I bit into it, I got super nostalgic because it reminded me of a Big Mac. Like it had the sesame seed bun. Like it had this house-made dressing on it, and tasted very similar to Thousand Island, but it was house-made, obviously. The pickles were delicious, and like I only got one patty. You could have did the double patty, but it was lunchtime. I just left the gym, and I wanted to eat the French fries, so I got the single. I bit into it, and literally I was like, this tastes like a Big Mac. The day before that, I went to Sour Duck, the sister restaurant to Odd Duck, and I had their burger on happy hour, which was great. I got the single patty once again instead of the double. That one was good as well too. House-made pickles, house-made sauce. So I can't really rate them just yet because it's only I've only had 2 burgers. I'm going to Pool Burger today. So yeah, that's where we're at.
What is Pool Burger?
It's a spot on the list that I have not gone to, but I've heard great things about it. The bartender at Carpenter told me he thought it was overrated though. I'm not going to say his name, but yeah.
Yeah, well, don't throw him in the
I ain't
bus.
gonna do that. But he was talking a little stuff though, but yeah, he actually talked a little stuff.
Was I think the place it's a trailer. Maybe it's a brick and mortar. Jew Boys.
Jew Boys is on the list.
Ah, interesting.
Yes, it's on the Smash Burger list, and that's probably been one of the most hyped places. I will say, like everybody that I've talked to, my homies have said Jew Boy. One of my buddies lives right next to it. For some reason, I've not gone there, but that is one I am excited to try.
Okay, I got one more. What's something on the list that you like besides Jew Boys that you like really want to try, or that like? What's something else that stood out on the list, I guess is what I'm asking.
Honestly, something that stood out on the list was the vegan section. And that's something that I'm actually excited to try because when I had my first vegan burger when I was in San Diego at Kindred. And so when I saw that list, since I've been exploring my food palette and just trying different things, I've been going down the vegan route. And so I'm excited to try what some of these people are able to do without meat. And because I love meat, and so hold on, pause. Yeah.
So, have you tried Trill Burgers yet?
Who?
Trill Burgers.
That's the one in Houston, right?
Bun B. Yeah, Bun
I
B's.
actually just hit my buddy who's from Cedric from Houston, and I sent him that, and I was like, we got to go try it.
Yeah, they say hey, he has a vegan burger.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, and like, you know, I don't know. He always has famous people try it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is the best vegan burger I've ever eaten." But I don't know whether to believe him or not. But I've had some. You know what? This is what I think. I think the secret to a good vegan burger is just like the rest of the stuff, like the sauce and everything. Because like you know, once you get down to it, meat kind of tastes like meat, unless it's like a really special like cut of meat, right? But like if you're just doing like a bean patty, I mean, if you just cover it with sauce and stuff, I'm like, I'm good.
That is true. And honestly, the one that I had that I really liked was an egg roll burger. So it had the cabbage, it had the like a sweet and sour sauce on it. It actually had like some tortilla chips on it to give it the crunch of an egg roll. So it tastes like an egg roll to mask the meat flavor. So I can 100% see that.
But I mean, you know, I'm sure there's like vegan people going like, no, there are great patties out there that people eat all the time. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Like there's great meat, but I mean, I'll still eat like McDonald's, you know? So like, what am I complaining about?
Well, and it's funny because it seemed like they were honest about it, and they're like, yeah, like when it came to bacon specifically, and I ended up trying, like they had a bacon egg McMuffin, and the bacon actually came from a guy from Texas. He used to be a pit master, and he became a vegan for health reasons, and he loved bacon, and he wanted to recreate it, and everybody else has made bacon, I guess, from all of these different Impossibles and stuff, but he's recreated it with tofu, and it was amazing. And so I think they're even honest about it, like, hey, like, Impossible bacon isn't good, but when it's mixed with everything else, it works.
Yeah.
And so, hey, at least they're honest about it. And these were California vegans, so I think that those are official vegans in my.
Hey, so how long ago did we meet? How long? 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? How long ago was that? Do you know?
It was more than honestly. I don't remember. That was in my drinking days, and I tried to forget a lot about that.
No, but this is what. Okay,
it's been almost like 4 or 5 years ago. It was in my Gibson days.
Okay, how old are you?
32 now.
Okay, so how old were you then? Like 27, something like that?
I was like 27, 28.
Okay, dude, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Like your skin. And just like
don't crack.
No.
No, but yeah.
But like what I mean is not that you ever, it's like this. You don't ever really know if someone drinks a lot or not. Mm-hmm. But if someone that drinks a lot stops drinking and then you see them, you're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like you must have been fucking drinking because you look like a different person.
People have told me that. They literally want, the skin thing is actually the biggest one. That I've gotten. So I appreciate that.
But it's just like healthy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you just look healthy.
I really try to take care of myself. Like I've realized in order to keep up with my sobriety and my recovery, like physical is a big factor of that. So like I work out 5, 6, 7 times a week. I'm trying, my partner is great about buying me products that help take care of skin. She's a big beard person, so she gives me beard treatments and such. So yeah, like I can't take credit for all of it, but honestly, like the non-drinking part has definitely done a lot.
I think that I you know, we talked about this when we kind of caught up. I saw you. We talked about booking the podcast, and then I saw you at Chappelle
at the Moody Center.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, holy shit. Anyways. That like
you never came back for another drink, by the way. I was surprised by that.
Well, you know, okay. So here, do you want to explain? Will you explain it? So I really have kind of stopped drinking.
Okay.
Right. And so when we got there, the group of guys that I was with, they were all drinking. They were like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a drink." Like I'm not. It's not. It sounds blasphemous, but like that's the only drink I had like all night.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? And so I didn't have any reason to come back. And then
I'm jealous that you can do that. That you're gonna have one drink and say no.
Because you know what it is? It's like it's not. It could be non-alcoholic.
But, yeah, I got you trying to aesthetic.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things to do is be here in the garage by myself, and I play the Bigs 2 on Xbox 360. It's a baseball game, but it's like NBA Jam baseball.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I would just love just like drinking a beer. So I would just drink a beer. Like that's all I drink. I just want to drink a beer while I was playing it. I don't know why. And then I was just like, well, why am I even drinking this one beer? Why don't I just get like non-alcoholic beers? Because it's really about like the taste. Does it taste good? Mm-hmm. Right? Does it taste like a beer I would drink?
Yeah.
And then like, does it feel that vice of like wanting a beer while I play baseball. Totally does. And so like when you're out a lot of times, when people offer you drinks, they might go like, hey, do you want a drink? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. Like you're buying, like I'll take a drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not that I wouldn't buy them a drink to, to pay them back or whatever, but it's more about like, it could be non-alcoholic. It could be a beer. To me, it's all like the same.
That makes sense.
That
does make sense.
You would probably drink it for a different reason.
That's the key.
You weren't drinking to play.
So they say, I got sober in AA, and so they say that stopping drinking is only the beginning. Like all the work happens after, and so you like. It was easy for me to stop drinking because I started to do the personal work at the same time. Like if I wasn't doing the work on myself, on healing and the self-reflection and all of that, then I wouldn't have been able to successfully stop drinking. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was the biggest part for me. And so sometimes I do wonder, and this is the alcoholic mind for me thinking, and I have to check myself a lot of times. Like, can I just have one? I had a friend. It was funny. I used to sit by him at Lavaca Street downtown in my drinking days all the time. Didn't realize that the whole time there he was drinking Coke. But like, I thought he was drinking for the longest time because he would tell me about when he goes on vacation. We'd always talk about his vacations. He drinks when he goes on vacation, but when he's here, he doesn't drink at all. And so when I got out of the treatment a year ago, about 6 months in, 9 months in, I started wondering. I'm like, man, I'm feeling good. Like I started doing my personal work. Could I just drink? Can I just maybe drink on vacations and such? But like when I just said that I'm envious of you, I can't. I think like, oh yeah, I probably could now, and I could probably have one or two. But like 3 months down the road, my life is going to become a disaster again. So I can't just have one. Like because one will lead to two tomorrow. 2 will lead to 4 next week. 4 is going to lead back to me being an alcoholic and me back to my life being a disaster. And so that's why I said I'm envious of you that and you have the willpower to just say you can have that one.
But I think it's not willpower. It's like I have a totally different reason why I'm drinking. Like I'm just drinking because like, oh, like I like the taste of beer. Whether it's like, so like,
yeah.
If the bar offered like a non-alcoholic, like Miller Lite, you know what I mean? And it tastes just like Miller Lite. I'd be like, well, just give me either one. But probably it's like gluten, so it's like more expensive. So I would just drink probably a beer because I know I'm only going to have one. I just want a taste of a beer.
Yeah.
And I think probably for a lot of people that struggle with alcohol, it's more of like you're chasing a feeling like anything else, right?
I don't even think it was for me. It was chasing a feeling. I was running away from a feeling.
Sure, yeah. Numbing.
That's exactly what it was. It was a coping mechanism. And
now you got to cope.
Yeah. And that's exactly like and a lot of times it also was trying to fit in with what was around me. Somebody told me something super. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Somebody told me. I try not to cuss anyways, but somebody told me something super fucked up when I first moved here, and I believed it. And it was like, also I was 24 when I moved here, but it was like, in order to get the real feel of culture of Austin, you got to go out every night for the first 30 days that you're here. And so I did that. And so I started to just surround myself with this lifestyle of just alcohol and being out and wanting to be accepted by Austin and the people of Austin. That it just took me to it's crazy how that happened.
All I keep thinking while you're talking is, well, one, I wish like doing a podcast or something like that where like I would do 1 and then it would lead to 4 and then it'd lead to 8 and then lead to me doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times to create art or to like kind of do this thing, you have to like go through the struggle of keeping it going. We talked about that a little bit before, right? But I think when you were talking about like you had to start somewhere and then this is, the stopping drinking is the start.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a metaphor for your entire life. Like stopping the bad habits that you have and going, I'm going to live my life an intentional in another way, no matter if the rest of Austin cares or not, right? Like I need to do this for me.
Yeah.
Like that's where everybody starts.
Yes. And I think that like you brought my full circle where I was at. I had to realize the reason why I was doing it. It was like I kept trying to to appease everybody else, to live like this lifestyle of, I was manager of a JW Marriott hotel. Like I was that guy. People was hitting me up for discounts and to stay at the hotel. They wanted to be at the pool.
That's
want to
fun,
party.
though.
Like I was the guy. Like I was at the restaurant, comping people's meals. Like people loved me. So anytime I went out, they're like, hey, I got your drinks. I got this, that, and the other. Like I was living the life. Like at all the concerts, everywhere I wanted to be. But deep down inside, like I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really, love myself. Like I loved the concept of what I thought I was, but like I didn't really truly actually love who I was. I couldn't sit with myself and be with my own thoughts and really sit with that. And so it wasn't until like I really sat and actually sent myself to rehab. I went to rehab last year. I made the decision to pack my bags and go to Orange County, California, and to get sober so that way I was able to truly find out who I am, Marcell Jones, is, and not this person that I created when I came to Austin. And I feel like a lot of people do that, like especially at the age of when I was 24, like when I moved here, like we get so caught up with what the culture says and what social media. I'm a big Instagram guy, so the Instagram versus reality type aspect. And so I was living this lifestyle that it was beyond my means. And so it wasn't until I finally went to rehab that I finally started doing things for myself and started truly finding myself.
Do you still go downtown at all? Do you go downtown any?
Yes.
Okay, but really before.
Yeah.
But you see people that you used to work with and bartend with and do all that stuff with still downtown, right?
Oh yeah. I still am friends with some of those people.
Right. And so like you realize like that's a rough life. You know what I mean? Like you chose to get out the game, you know what I mean? Because it's a rough life staying in that stuff.
Yeah.
As you get older.
I still bartend though.
Well, but I mean, yeah. I don't think that like I guess like all the other stuff. Like you can have okay, well, let me ask you.
What do you mean by other stuff? Like,
well, everything that happens downtown.
So I don't drink.
Right.
Like that was my drug of choice.
Right.
Like I still smoke weed.
Right.
Like I still, like I don't drink and I still go out and things like that. Like I live for me to be sober, and I live still a pretty normal lifestyle, which most sober people are not able to do.
Okay, so let me ask. So earlier, you said that you were this Marcell, like you were the guy, you were the man, blah blah blah, and then you realized that like you were empty, and probably that's why you're drinking, right? So you're not drinking now.
Yeah.
So are you still worried about being the guy? Like
no.
Maybe that's the difference. Is what I mean. It's like you're not wrapped up in the politics and everything of being all. You're out of it. You're like this is a job for me.
Yes.
That's what I meant, maybe. Yeah, does that make sense?
That makes more sense. Yeah, I finally was like, I'm just gonna be unapologetically me. Like,
yes.
And you know what I found? People have told me, it was my friend, a friend Alexa. She was like, Marcell, you were like a light before, but like you were like a dim light. But like now, like you're you. Like you're like this bright, shining light now. And I was like, damn, thank you. Like, and my cousin even said it. He's like, man, like you're more you now from like the high school you that I knew than you were the whole time while I was lost in the sauce. And so to hear people say that, like even my mom, like to hear those things is what makes me like, I don't even think about drinking, honestly. Like my relationship with alcohol it's totally different. My brother passing also had a lot to do with that, but yeah.
So let me ask you this. When we first met, right? Where were you? Were you drinking like heavy? Were you partying heavy when we met?
I was drinking every day to black out pretty much. Like, and it wasn't too blackout. It was just like that would just happen. Like my routine in the morning was like it was literally I'd get up at 9 a.m. and I was like 8 a.m. and I would go to the corner store and I would get a Voodoo Ranger, which is 9% IPA, at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I would chug that just to start my day. And then I would go across the street to this coffee shop that was across the street called Annie's Day and Night. And they had a beer and a shot special created for me because I would have, while I was working throughout the day, it was $5. It was a shot of well whiskey and a Coors Banquet 16 ounce. And I would drink that throughout the day. And then I would proceed to, at 5 o'clock, go down to Lavaca Street downtown and proceed to just continue to drink until the point that I would come home at like 9, 10 o'clock and pass out and do and repeat. And then to eventually come to the weekend where I would do it all over again. And yeah, that was literally like, that was my life.
Okay.
But nobody would ever notice that though, or knew that.
Nobody knew that?
No, probably not until now.
So like your parents didn't know, your brother didn't know, nobody knew?
Nobody knew that. My partner probably the only person I've probably ever said that to.
Dang.
Like that was my morning routine. Yeah. The thing is, like, I was always able to hide my alcoholism, like my drinking. Like or not even just that, the turmoil in my life. Like I tried so hard to make sure that everybody else saw me as this Marcell that I wanted them to see. But deep down, like I was hurting. We were going through evictions. Like at one point I lived in the bottom in a closet of the JW Marriott out of a suitcase. But like I still would get up every day and put a suit on and go upstairs and run the restaurant. And I did that until my buddy found one of the construction workers found my little makeshift stuff that I took from the hotel, and I would bring it down into the closet, and I had like a makeshift like room for me. And I'm talking about this closet was like small as smaller than a jail cell. Like it was literally as a closet. And like I would sleep in there, and I would still show up to work every day, still go out and drink at night, but I would just come home and that was my home. Like, and I did that until it was almost like a month. And then I surfed I was breaking into my old leasing offices and sleeping on the couches there, couch surfing, but I still showed up to work every day and still managed this like facade of what people wanted, what I thought they wanted to see and what, like, yeah. But deep inside, I was going through so much.
You from California?
No, I'm from Indianapolis, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis area.
Okay, so
I've been here 8 years.
Okay, so when you how old were you when you left there?
24.
Okay, so you'd already been 21 in Indiana. Okay, what was drinking like for you there before you got to Austin?
I started. I got my fake ID when I was 18. My brother gave it to me. Rest in peace. And I would go out, but it wasn't until like I got a job in the industry that it really like things changed for me. And I think that's like, it was like I was hanging out with older people and I just saw what was around me. And there's this preconceived notion that if you're in the service industry that you have to drink and drug. And like I thought that coming in as young, and I saw everybody around me, and that's what the culture was like. And this is years ago. And I think things have shifted now, where the way things are now in the new generation, the way people are thinking about like alcohol and the way they consume. But at that time, like that's all I knew, and that's all like. Yeah, I mean, you to get a fake ID, like there was a whole movie, Superbad, that was about that.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's the culture that we lived in, and so yeah. So
you know, I bartended downtown, right?
I think I remember you saying something about that.
Okay, so let me tell you.
You got some years on me though.
Yeah. So like this was way before, whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so this is old school, like when people were stuck downtown working downtown forever, right?
Yep.
Anyways, I don't know when it was. Something happened and I decided that I wasn't going to drink at work anymore. Right. So I was just going to be sober. And let me tell you something. This is why
shut the street down for you.
No. Like, it's like, it wasn't that. It was like, I just didn't like who I was. And so, everyone's drinking around me and everybody's like, do you want to do shots? Do you want to drink? No, I'm okay. Blah, 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 whatever. What I realized was being sober, like slowly everybody got real fucking annoying. And then all the people got annoying because you're the only one that's sober. Right. But that had a lot to do with my insecurities as a person.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I was confident, like you're saying you are now, you can just be down there. People like drink. You're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
and you can stand on it. Well, but if you're insecure, you go. Well, that peer pressure.
Yep.
You know what I mean.
So, question: when you went at that time, what when you stopped drinking, what were people saying? Like, because I feel like around your time, even more so to say that you're sober and bartending, like that's a big deal.
Unless you were just the dude that had always been the dude. So it's like if you'd always been the guy somehow, I don't know who that guy is. Like nobody really messed with that guy, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't drink. But if you were like a person like, hey, I've decided I'm not going to drink, it's almost like vultures came in.
That's exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were just like, why aren't you drinking?
That's exactly what it is.
And you're just kind of like, well, fuck, man. I guess I'll have one. And then now I'm having 5. And now I'm drunk, passed out in my car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got that when I first got out of treatment, because I didn't tell a lot of people that I was going to rehab. I told my close friends, but I didn't want to tell a lot of people because just in case I like slipped up or something like that. Like I remember my buddy.
Well, you weren't quite ready to be you. Probably you were still kind of like.
I didn't know if I was going to stop for good. I actually went to rehab to get in control of my drinking, actually.
Right.
And that's the alcoholic talking, thinking I can get in control of it. Like, I'm just going to go just to see if I can cut back. And it wasn't until I got there I had a rude awakening. But I didn't tell a lot of people because I was like, for that fucking reason. And so when I got back, like, that's exactly what it was. People were like, hey, like, look, are you going to have a drink today, or you just stopped drinking? And I still didn't tell people when I got back, like, what happened? I was like, no, I'm not drinking. Like, I don't drink anymore. Oh, I stopped drinking. And they was like, oh, you were like, are you not? And I'm like, oh, and people would continue to ask me. And I realized when people stopped hanging out with me, that was one for real.
Was that tough?
You realize who your real friends are.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think somebody is your friend and it turns out they're not your friend, that could suck.
But I did the work.
So you were confident.
That's why I was confident in myself. And I told me in treatment that I couldn't play in the same sandbox. Like I was going to have to change my environment. But I knew for me that I was attached to the industry. That's a part of me. It's in my blood. Like I wasn't going to leave that. I was going to let the people weed themselves out of my lives. And the people that I knew that I wanted to be around me were going to stick around. Yeah. And that's what happened. And so the squad that I have, it's my core group of people. And those are the people that have stuck with me since day one.
How much better are you at your job now?
Well, I got laid off 2 months ago.
Oh, man.
But what I realized I realized that I didn't really love my job. I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Well, maybe the new you is at the wrong job.
That's exactly what it was.
You know what I mean? So
I realized that I had sold my soul to the devil. I was in tech sales, and like I was doing it because I made great money, and great money meant I had money to be able to drink and drug. Like that's so if I'm making $100,000 a year, $120,000 a year, I can also leave Austin and go drink elsewhere so I can have a change of scenery and look even better doing it. And so like, that's what I did. And so I realized, honestly, when I started to make more money is when I started to drink even more.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So when I got laid off, it was a blessing in disguise. So I'm not in tech sales anymore. I was getting better at my job, but also I cared less. I started to want to pursue things that I actually cared about more. And so that's where I'm at now. Like when I got laid off from Shopify 2 months ago, they sold 20% of the company. No hard feelings. It was a business decision. And I was kind of happy I was a part of that business decision. I got a great severance, and it gave me the opportunity to start living the life that I wanted to. And it was funny how it happened, because it was exactly a year and 4 days after my 1 year mark. And they always say in the program, like, don't make any crazy rash decisions in the first year of your sobriety. And so Shopify paid for me to go to treatment, and a year later they got rid of me, and it just happened to be perfect timing.
Well, you are looking at the blessing inside of what happened, which is like you got to get sober.
They paid for
you.
It took me a second to do that.
No, but I mean, I think that's normal.
No,
I think it's normal to take a minute to get to that blessing, right? Like, because you're like, I got fired, and you're just like, well, but I got sober.
Well, I guess, honestly, I will take that back. It took me a lot faster to get to that point because of where I'm at now versus where I was. If I would have got fired a year ago, if I would have got fired in the same place that I was at a year ago, because I lost several jobs. In my group of friends, like I was known as the guy that would either get evicted or would lose a job. In a heartbeat. I got fired from so many bars downtown. Like, my friends wouldn't even vouch for me to get like at their bars anymore. They're like, fuck nah, dude, you're not.
Was that because of drinking? Was all that?
It was usually because I'd either get too drunk on the job, or I also just didn't show up because I either got too drunk.
Right.
Yeah. So it's always had to do, everything has always had to do with alcohol.
Right.
I realized as soon as I cut that out, everything got better. But literally.
Yeah.
But like when I lost the job and I was able to take that situation and flip it and make it a positive.
Right.
And it took me, it was pretty quick. Like, I called my mom right after I got laid off, and she said, you know what? I love my mom to death. She said, you know what? It was a blessing in disguise because you weren't happy. And I was like, what? She's like, you always like, you did it because of the money. And she's like, you are meant to do something in hospitality, and like, you enjoyed helping people. Like, you love being in hospitality because you love being around people, and you love this joy and satisfaction when they got the food to their table and they got to taste the meal, and like that's what you enjoyed. Like,
were you like, why didn't you say this sooner? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why'd you wait?
She always would try to tell me, but
you
like,
didn't hear it.
I was thinking about my next drink when she was fucking talking.
Sure. Yeah. You weren't present.
No,
Yeah,
I wasn't present. I was everywhere else. And so
Mhm.
I was finally mindful for the conversation that she said to me. And it's funny, like, I had always had this idea for a YouTube channel. That's actually when I had that, when I asked you about it. And when I got out of treatment, I got linked up with this great group called Ben's Friends, who was a sober community for food and beverage people. And I met some really great chefs who were sober. And I was like, man, there are people that are cooks and chefs and bartenders out there that are sober. Like, more people need to know about this, because I have so many friends that are still in the industry that are so lost in the sauce, they don't know where to start. That's honestly like where I wish that I would have had is somebody just while I was still bartending is like, give me a place to start. Like, cause I was always curious about it. And so when I got out of treatment, I had a place to start and continue that journey with Ben's Friends. And I had this idea to start a YouTube channel, and my higher power placed like different people in my life to kind of tell me that this was the right path to go on. My old buddy who was doing real estate started doing YouTube. He Chud's Barbecue is a YouTube channel. He started managing his YouTube channel. My friend started dating a videographer. And so the whole year, I'm like, damn, like these people are coming into my life like that are helping me probably start this YouTube channel. And so at that year mark, I get laid off, and I'm like, this is meant to be. Like, I'm meant to tell people's story of how they've overcome, how they've used food as a healing tool for them to overcome what they've been dealing with. And so that's what sparked the YouTube idea. And that's what led me to decide to do something different and to start my own. You originally asked me, did it make my job better? I know I kind of went on a tangent, but it has led me to discover that I hated sales. And I wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to do something on my own. My late brother, that was what he was good at. Like, he was the business mind, always coming up with the ideas. And I'm always like, can I just give you the money? But I realized when he passed away, like, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to start my own. And so I was like, you know what, God, this is you telling me to take a leap of faith. I applied for some sales jobs that I was overqualified for, and they actually told me that. And they said, no, we can't, like, you're overqualified for this. We think you're going to leave. And I think that was my higher power telling me, like, you need to take this leap of faith and do what you want and do what you're passionate about. And so that's what I'm doing now.
Well, one, you can't see that if you're drunk.
Yeah.
Right. But then two, like, let me ask you this. Like, none of these good things that are happening in your life, it didn't come without sacrifice, right?
I've had to sacrifice a lot.
Right. Is it worth it? Some days it is, and some days it's not. Some days it feels like a lot, but then some days you just feel so blessed, I bet.
You know what, my mom, I had a great conversation with my mom, and she said that, like, you do a great job of talking about the blessings, but like, I want to hear the grimy stuff. I want to hear about your bad days. Like, because it's great to come on here and be able to talk about the good days. And so I have to, those bad days provide humility for me. Those days when I really want to drink, that provides a lot of humility for me.
What's your mom's name?
Marcell.
Marcell. I'm not disagreeing with you, Marcell. This is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You like, the whatever you put out, the reverberation that you put out that positive vibe.
Yes.
It goes out in the world, and that's what you're speaking out into the world, right?
Yes.
If you speak out negative shit, it's putting a negative vibe out there. It's putting negative out on other people. And even though we enjoy that, some might argue that's the devil's whispering in your ear. It's like those things that we feel like we need, but we really just need is like to try to like lean into like what you've accomplished. But I get it because I like grimy stuff too, man. I like forensic files, like murder shows.
I think with that is more so like share with me the grimy, but share with me your experience, strength, and hope of how you overcame that.
Yeah.
That's what she wants to hear because my mom's seen alcoholism runs in my family. My dad was an alcoholic. My brother, same thing. Like before he passed away, like he was dealing with so many demons and that's why I'm a huge advocate of mental health. And like, that's like, I talk about and preach this, like from the clothes that I wear to what I'm consistently posting, like I'm constantly preaching about that because of the demons that I watched my brother deal with and things like that. And so like, she's seen the darkness and sees like, and also saw people, my dad try to heal and also slip back into it. And so she's like, babe, this is great, but I want to hear how you're handling these trials and tribulations and those dark moments. That's the stuff that gets my mom off.
Look, I mean,
that's a mama in you though. Yes, I do. I think what you're saying is when you saw me, there was this different person that go ahead.
Okay. No. You finish and I'll say, keep going.
Yeah. I know because I want to piggyback off of something you said earlier because I didn't get to touch on it. You said that you had noticed immediately that there was a different person and that there was a change there when you saw me, and I appreciate that because that's something that I'm really trying to work on is to make sure that there is an energy that's felt in the presence, whether it's the way that I greet you or just in general. I think also it was interesting part. It was the body dysmorphia.
What do you mean?
I didn't know I had body dysmorphia. I didn't know that word or concept of it. Like when I looked in the mirror,
you were fine with what you saw.
I was always self-conscious about it, and I didn't realize that was a big reason why I was drinking also because I didn't like the way I looked. I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be like this big buff guy, but like
can't drink and do all that shit.
Yeah. And like, but also I thought that like I looked good in those clothes, but I didn't realize that I remember my buddy showed me a picture. I was like, damn, bro, my shirt is like too big. Why didn't you tell me that?
I think the look and everything was fine, but it was just your overall energy and the way you carried yourself, and your face, like your head almost looks bigger now because your face was so drawn in through your cheeks, sunken in. Like your face is filled out. Like you look really healthy.
I haven't seen it before.
That time I was just like, dang, this kid. Like, how long is this kid gonna live? Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because I knew. Okay. So
no, that's true though.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, so the group of people that we met and know together, like you come out on my boat before,
yeah,
right? So the group of people we hung out with, right?
Yeah,
they like to drink,
yeah,
right? And so on some level, like every time I saw you, you were out drinking with them. So I was like, this guy likes to drink, and that's a lot of drinking. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like it would be like every time I'm out, which is like once a month, you know what I mean? I would see you, and I was like, well, what are the chances? You know what I mean? But you would always be out. You'd be out with those guys drinking, you know?
I was everywhere all the time. That was like my saying. I was like, oh, I'm everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Because I was everywhere.
But you were just so,
I wasn't eating.
You're just drinking.
A liquid diet.
Yeah.
I didn't realize most of the time if I would have just ate, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have blacked out as much also.
Yeah. But I mean, you just look like it's like you're a different person. It's wild. It's wild for me.
That was Marcus. So I had two
okay,
people.
I'll bite. Go ahead.
There was no. This isn't even. This is a real thing. Like there was Marcell and it was Marcus. I remember one time I actually gave a girl my phone number and I was drunk and I was trying to text her name to me, but I texted my name to me.
You have two phones?
No, I had her phone.
Oh, okay.
And I put my name in her phone.
Yeah, you got it.
And I saved the name as Marcus instead of Marcell. So when I saw her, I was like, hey, you never text me. She was like, you didn't put your name on my phone. And I was like, and she gave me her phone and I typed in Marcell and it wasn't in there, but I typed in my phone number and iPhone pops up. You type it showed up as Marcus because I was blacked out when I gave her my phone number. And so that was my drunken alter ego. I was literally a different person. I would meet people and I wouldn't even remember them at all. And they were like, oh, dude, we had a great conversation, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, that was Marcus. And it became like an actual thing after a while. So yes, that was Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus don't look nothing like you.
No, I actually had to write a letter to Marcus, an RIP letter to Marcus while I was in treatment. Like we sent him back, and that's why I say I don't remember a lot of like the past. Like I buried the past for real. Like I RIP'd that guy.
Well, I mean, you have to, right?
That's the only way you move on, man. Because mindfulness and being present, I think is something that you had mentioned. Like being present, you can't focus on the past, man. Like, and I try not to future trip either. Like, I'm like here. Like, I actually don't. I'm trying to. Like, I'm here.
Well, us here right now will be in the future when it comes out, but we're in the present
trippy.
now.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, you just like you step in here and now you're in the future. You don't even know it. So you're not the first person to tell me that they like to get drunk and have an alter ego, and I'm sure you have met these people before. Yes.
Oh yeah, I feel like everybody has one.
Well,
because it's an easy way to like blame your.
But I don't feel like I have one. Do I have one? Ooh, maybe I do. Maybe I just never explored it. I mean, look, I've had my terrible nights with alcohol. So whoever that guy was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, why do we think we do that? Like, why come from all the way from Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Get to Austin and like become like an avatar.
Coming down to Austin and like creating like this facade, this avatar. And honestly, like it made me think back to when I first did the same exact thing. I got a change of scenery and I created this new avatar or this person. When I was in high school, I got expelled because I threw an eraser at a teacher, and which is the stupidest thing ever. I'm talking about like a pencil eraser. I took the bottom of a pencil eraser off and I threw it at a teacher. It bounced off the chalkboard. The teacher, I got expelled. I eventually ended up going to a private school. And that's when I created like this new person. And it carried over when my mom took me out of that school because she found out I was smoking weed and started going to another private school that created another alter ego. And so for some reason, I just kept, I didn't like who I was. So I just kept creating, it's like adding on to who I was. And I just kept doing more and more shit. And I think it kind of carried over to the same way when I got the opportunity to move to Austin. I was at the really critical part of my life. Like that 24 range is like where you're 23, 24, like you're still trying to figure out shit. I got promoted to a manager. And so I was like, you know what? Like I get to create this person. And so I kind of took the movie Casino, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm a big mob movie guy. Robert De Niro was one of my favorite characters. And I took Robert De Niro almost and Stuart Scott and created this like character of like this cool hotel guy and became him.
I mean, in knowing you, I feel like that's accurate. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Because I wanted to, I couldn't sit with all of the stuff that I was dealing with. My dad leaving, the insecurities that I had, all the shit that I was running away from. I moved down here by myself. I had no friends. I mean, I had no family down here. Didn't know anybody. So I was creating something that people would like, so people would accept me.
One, I just want to talk about the irony of the beginning of your school career and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's very similar.
That's hilarious. I actually got best dressed too when I was in high school.
Yeah, but two, like you were practicing this character, right? And so I'm sure everywhere you went somewhere new, you just fine-tuned it that much more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What this guy was. And then you had this great character that was almost in control of you.
Yeah.
But I would say at this moment, you are in control of him. Like you are that same, because you still have the same big personality like when I met you.
I thought I was going to lose that.
Well, yeah, because... Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like
I was so worried about that.
Like, you really think I'm this cool on the inside? You know what I mean? When you met me, I'm running around like 1,000 tattoos. We're going out on my boat, being all cool. You think I'm really that cool inside?
I think so.
I mean, now so I am,
Yeah.
but like at the time where you met me, I definitely like, there's everybody has to fight that facade and the thing the character you create online and all that kind of stuff, the insecurities and stuff. But it's really cool to be like in the driver's seat of yourself, right?
You did a good job of faking that. I will say that.
Well, I mean, hey, you did a pretty good job of faking it yourself, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I always used to look like, man, that dude is a real cool motherfucker. Also, you just have this really suave voice and anything, so it's very charming. But no, I definitely, I forgot what I was about to say with that.
well,
Yeah.
I was talking about the character, like
Yes.
I created and the character you created.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, I honestly, I will say, like, the character, it was fun, and I'm glad that I did that, and
But now you said you thought you would lose him.
because I thought that I was going to lose him, and I realized that it wasn't a character. There was
It was
me
you
in there,
Yeah.
and I had to realize that what pieces of that was actually me, and what pieces of that was the addiction and the facade in that. And I think now people are, like you said, like you see, like I still have the same energy. I'm still like this big, bold personality. And I'm glad it's still contagious. Like I would be really upset if Jesus, I was worried about that. That was, yeah.
Alcohol gave you permission to be yourself, right?
No.
Hang on.
Okay.
But when you take alcohol away, you have to give yourself permission to be yourself in a world that basically tells you that they want you to be a certain way all the time.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
The alcohol makes it easy to want to be yourself, be a personality and things like that. And you're like, well, if I take the alcohol away, I thought I'd lose that.
Yeah.
But the difference is now you're in control instead of the alcohol being in control, right? Instead of the bad part of that person being, it's like you're embracing that big personality of yours and you have full control and you're totally confident in just everybody either liking me or suck it.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Well, because I think every look, I think every.
I hate saying that, but it's so
Look,
true.
okay, look. Would you say that like you've somewhat mastered yourself? You're mastering yourself.
Oh, I'm on a healing journey for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
When you start doing that, you don't need alcohol anymore.
No, because I'm so focused on trying to heal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know. We were talking earlier about the one beer, like I'm drinking one beer and why I drink one beer and stuff like that. Like I could see how for a person that struggles with alcohol, like I've never got up in the morning and drank like in my life. Well, I go to the river.
Hold
like,
on, what?
Like we go to the river. Oh, okay.
You ain't never had a morning after beer or anything like that? Like, or cure the dog?
Like at brunch.
So, like, you've never been so hungover the night before that you had to wake up and take a shot?
No.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I have. I mean,
envy you.
Look, hey, I've been to Vegas. I mean, I have. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a beer at breakfast.
Yeah.
But like, that's like in Vegas.
Not because you had to, because you had the shakes or something.
No, just because like I was like, oh, everybody's having a beer at breakfast.
Once again, it seems because everybody else is having one.
So it's just a different mentality. But like, like alcohol.
That's nice. But like, because it seems like for you, sorry to interrupt, but it seems like for you, like your drinking has always been because you see other people and you're like, okay, I'll partake. Not because
I didn't
feel like you had to.
I was more scared.
Oh, no, not like because you wanted to. There's a difference. Like it was like for me, it was always like I got up and it was like there could be nobody around and I was cracking open a beer, but that was never something I feel like you probably really did.
Nah,
damn, that's dope.
But I think that's just not one of my vices. That's not one of my, alcohol could be your kryptonite if you're Superman, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That could be your kryptonite.
It's yeah, that's exactly it.
So mine is probably sugar.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, but I'm working.
And that's a really good point. Sorry to cut, but that's a really good point. And that's what I try to tell people that are around me when it comes to alcohol. I don't have a good relationship with alcohol. I'm allergic to alcohol. My partner still drinks. I encourage people to drink. I'll go get a section at a club and buy bottle service to be able to sit down so other people can drink because like that's still a good time for them, but like it's just not for me. And so I tell people all the time, like that's my vice. So please, but I do actually say like, hey, if you're drinking, just just question every once in a while why you're drinking. If you're drinking for pleasure, okay. But if you're drinking for other reasons and whatever those reasons are, and only you can ask yourself that question, then maybe you need to ask some other questions. But I never tell anybody don't drink. I would just say every once in a while, ask yourself the question of like, why are you drinking?
Did you drink to do you think you ever drank to take away the guilt of just wanting to be yourself? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I was too far gone.
Yeah, but I mean,
I lied so much that it was so hard to come back from it. My friends were calling me out on some of the lies that I forgot that I had told. Like, I had lied so much, there was no coming back from it. That's how much I had created this person that, yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did a lot of those friends, okay, so we've already talked about that you're not friends with a lot of the friends just because you have a difference of drinking alcohol and not. So
I'm still friends with a lot. I'm still friends with a lot of them, but there's a select few that I have cut off. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the people that you're still like friends with, like they fully accept you. They don't question you.
Yes, it's taken time. And
yeah.
But so what I've realized that the saying actions speak louder than words is super fucking cliche.
But it kind of is true.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
Because it's so said so often, but like it's so true. So it wasn't until I got out that it really hit that like I can go around and say I'm this changed person, but it wasn't until people saw my moves that they were going to see it. Like you said, you saw that think something was different, and it was just because of the way I was moving, the way maybe things that I was posting, and so that's what it was. My friends initially, my partner, even one of them, they didn't trust me originally when I got back. It was over time that they were like, nah, he's moving different. He's talking different. Like his actions are different. Like this is a different person.
Well, can I just say, I think you would say this to be fair, right? Someone comes up to you and they go, I've changed, right? And like you said in the beginning, that's the starting point.
Yeah.
And then you have to show that change. You can't just go up to someone and go, I changed. And then you do something fucked up that you used to do. And then that person's like, hey, you didn't change. You're like, no, but I've changed. Right? Like you have to, and people aren't going to believe you.
Yeah.
Because why would you, if something has always been one way and now it tells you it's another way, why would you choose to start believing at that point? Like you believed all the way up to the point where you're like, I don't believe this motherfucker anymore. And then he's like, I'm going to change. And then like you're just supposed to believe him. Right? Like you have to do the legwork, like you said. Like you have to show people that I am a different person, and you have to be confident around it. And guess what? Motherfuckers are going to test you.
Oh, I've been tested.
Hey, was that like one of the hardest things to kind of get over? That they're like, man, like people still trying to test me.
People. I still have people to this day that they've been known. I'm a year sober, and they know that. And they're still like, you still not drinking? I'm like, motherfucker, you're still drinking? Like,
you need to quit.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm like, at what point? Once it's my life. Like, why?
Why you care?
I'm here. Am I still the same person? Like, am I still as fun? Am I not as fun? Like, why does it matter? Like,
okay, so let me ask you this: when you were drinking, right? You want everybody to drink with you, right?
If somebody told me they weren't drinking, I would always respect that.
No, but like, I mean, you encourage people to drink with you?
Oh, hell yeah. I was the one that's why I was so fucking broke, because I was buying everybody drinks.
Okay, so why'd you want everybody to drink with you?
Because, well,
you didn't want to be alone. You didn't want to be alone. Yeah, you want it. So that's why your friends are doing it to you. You know what I mean? They want you to come to them.
Yeah.
And you have to like stand your ground like an oak and go like, nope, you need to come over here. You need to stop drinking.
Well, it's funny because honestly, I think the biggest thing that I get is the biggest compliment is honestly when people see what I have and they want that.
Yeah.
They see happiness is the one thing that people cannot. They want it so bad.
Hey, so then you go, okay, they go, well, what are you doing differently? And you go, I'm not drinking. And they go, well, you're not doing anything else? Is there anything else that you're doing? You're just not drinking?
They're like, your skin looks great. I'm like, they're like, how? I'm like, I don't drink. They're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah.
So 2 different times recently, someone has come up to me in my place of work and gone like, hey, you look like you've lost some weight. right? And I didn't really think I lost any weight, but I got on the scale and I was like down like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
The only thing I've really done differently is not drink. Like I'll have these random beers, but like not drink. And that's the only thing I can explain to it. And I think on some level, they think I look thinner and healthier,
Yeah.
but I'm happier.
That's all it is.
I'm getting better sleep, you know, all that stuff, all these other unsaid things, like the sleep thing is like, bro, like you probably have no idea. Like if you were to go back and have some, I'm not encouraging you to, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you were to go back and have drinks, your sleep would be such dog shit.
I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah, you weren't sleeping. No, you weren't sleeping.
3-4 hours.
You weren't even sleeping then.
Nah.
Hey,
I closed my eyes, but I wasn't sleeping.
you were in a constant state of sedation.
Yeah.
You're constantly
Actually,
sedated, right? So you never really sleep. You rested, but you didn't sleep.
That's 100%.
And that's why you look like dog shit.
So do you feel like, I will say you definitely do look very happy. Especially you have a kid, like a beautiful, like family, like that happiness level that comes with that, like as me expecting, like I can only imagine. And like, it's like you now, what I've realized is I'm now in charge of my own happiness versus where before I was relying on external things
You gave it
to create my happiness.
You gave it to everybody else and said, hey, create my happiness for me.
Now I'm in charge of my own happiness finally. And that's something that people can't, that's what I've realized, that not everybody can do that. That is the hardest thing for people, to be able to create their own happiness and not need it to create it from other people. And I didn't even realize that.
Okay, so this is just I've stole this from books. This is my little theory. God was a creator. Okay. He created this great, amazing space, and then he dropped all of our asses in it. Right.
Yep.
And he goes, I'm a creator, but now I put you in an environment for you to create. Right.
Yep.
And that's kind of your job as a human, and finding that kind of thing. Right. And so when you find that thing, which is like me leaning more into this podcast, leaning more into my life coaching and the stuff that I'm passionate about, I become a creator inside the environment that he gave us.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that's what I think you're finding, because you're happier with less.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's the crazy part. I never thought I'd be on that level.
Because you were a consumer, but now you're a creator. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, you're right.
Like my sneaker collection's gone down just because, like, I'm just like, what do I got all these shoes for? I mean, it's
working on that one.
Well, I mean, hey,
no,
like,
that's it. But I've gotten so much better.
I think I have too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's like the sneakerhead in you is never going to go away.
It's really my one thing. It's my one thing. There's not much that I spend money on, and I don't even really spend a lot of money anymore. But I've been like this since I was in junior high. So like,
I agree with you on that one.
It is the core of kind of who I am. To dress and act like this is the core of who I am.
It's like my dream job growing up was like to work at Finish Line, because like if you was the Finish Line plug, then like not dream job, but like that was the cool job I worked at.
Oh, bro, everybody wants to work at a sneaker store.
At the sneaker store, you was the guy, and so I still to this day I'm like, man, if I could ever own my own business, like it would be a sneaker store, like not to do that resale bullshit that these people are doing, like jacking up, like try to make the shoes reasonable.
It don't work. It don't work anymore.
Just like that. It's a dying business. Like it's the same thing. Even ticket sales, the same thing with reselling that shit. Like it's the greed. But I feel like for me, the sneaker thing is definitely one of the things that I've hung on to. And in my sobriety, I actually went overboard on at the beginning, that I had to reel in, because like I was like, man, I'm not spending money out drinking, but I'm still making a lot of money. So I was buying shoes out the wazoo, and I had to eventually do some personal inventory and say, dog, like this can get out of control. So I've given myself limitations. I try to.
We're having the same story. I came into some.
What's your number? Do you limit it to a number that you can have at one time, or?
Oh no. Am I supposed to limit to a number?
I try to limit mine to 25 now. And if you get new ones, I'll recycle some out.
Okay, bro.
How are you doing it?
Okay. Do you see?
Yeah, this is more than 25.
Those are for sale. Those aren't even like my personals.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. My personals are all upstairs.
Oh, so
yeah. So it's a problem. Yeah, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah. So I had to clean shop. I had to.
Well, but I'm in like I said, all these for sale. So like I'm trimming down my stuff.
Have you been selling them?
I do Trade Block, and then I do StockX, and then eBay. eBay's a good place. eBay's a good place to get shoes.
Oh, that's my secret. eBay's a great place. That's my secret spot to shop, low-key-do.
It ain't gonna be secret much more.
No, I used to buy my suits for work. I used to buy them on eBay, and I would just get it because you can buy them in bulk for like $40 a piece. And my dad always taught me to buy a suit in every color. So that way you had options, of course. So I would buy 8 suits for $40 a piece, and I would just take them to the tailor and get them. So everybody thought I was the snazziest person out there. Once again, trying to live for everybody else.
Well, but it's
also it was a self-confidence thing of feeling fresh.
Well, yeah. You want to feel so fresh, so clean. You know what I mean?
That is
but
true.
Like, it's one of those things. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive.
No.
You know what I mean? I bought. Okay,
that's my favorite thing to buy those little steals.
Look, I bought these pants on.
Those are fly, by the way.
Thank you, Poshmark, $20.
Okay.
I bought this shirt from China for $9. Right. The socks are from like Ross or Kohl's or one of those fucking places.
Yes.
My sunglasses are prescription, but they were only like $30 on Zenni Optical. Shout out to Zenni Optical.
Shout out to Zenni Optical. And money goes into the shoes.
And then the most expensive part is the shoes.
That's how I am too.
So, but like, I like the way I dress them. I mean, I think it's fly, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd rather just spend more money on the shoes and then not today though. But it's all
well,
good.
I mean, like, you know, if you want to dress unique and cool, you can't wear what everybody else is wearing, so you have to go look somewhere else.
You gotta create your own style. Definitely. I've realized I've liked supporting small brands now.
Sure.
That's been I'm a sucker for like the Instagram
stuff
that pops up. But I've realized my algorithm, these fucking algorithms are great because I started navigating towards clothes with meanings on it, with some kind of meaning.
Me too.
Like meaningful something, like either whether it's talking about mental health or suicide prevention or something like that. I want somebody to read it to be like, okay, they maybe got something from it, but still got some juice. And there's some really dope brands out there. Change has been one that is.
I bought some from them.
And the fit, oh man, like I was mad at first because the shirt was like fucking $47, like 52 or something like that. But then you got it and you're like, okay, this is nice. And so, Grateful Apparel is probably one of my favorite ones because I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be sober. Is one
Art
of
of Homage. You ever?
Yes, I have heard of them as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm big on that now. And then also I've realized for pants, you know, my go-to, honestly,
what?
Old Navy. And this is like my girl's like, you're already dad mode sometimes. Like I go, they're chinos, consistent, like they're shorts. Like I don't need name brand stuff because your focus is gonna be on my kicks and my dope shirt.
Well, like these are like I think they're Volcom.
So I like to sneak in some pattern ones too.
Yeah. But I mean, like I was specifically looking for this, and you can only really find them on a secondhand like eBay or
those are swag pants.
Yeah,
you got to have swag pants in your closet, of course. But then you have basic color pants too, right?
Bro, I have custom made Van Halen fucking jean pattern pants.
But those are swag pants.
I mean, they're way swaggy.
But then you have your basic chinos too, though, right?
Well, you know what? You know what it is? I have.
Are you only a swag pant guy?
No. One, if I dress up, I dress up. If I'm not dressing up, I'm not dressing up. There's no in between. I'm either on or I'm off. Right?
That is actually true because every time I used to see you, you was always on.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I have one pair of chinos that I just like throw over my laundry basket. And it's basically like if I have to wear pants that day and I'm not dressing up, those are the pants I'm wearing. It's like my go-to pants. You know what I mean?
I am one of those that, and this probably, my mom has a shopping addiction. My dad gave me the drinking addiction. My mom gave me the shopping addiction because I'm one of those that I'll go into Old Navy and I'll see a pair of chinos and I'm like, I got to buy every color. And it's the same thing for like, I did it the other day when I went in there and bought their workout pants. I was like, they were on sale and they have 5 colors. And I'm like, I mean, I might as well buy every color. Like, it just makes sense. I wish I was just simple to be able to say, you know what? I'm just going to have a black pair and just do it like that.
Well,
I'm getting there though. I'm working on it.
Well, I think like
impulse buys.
Once again, like the more happy you get with your life, the less you feel it with things that you buy and stuff like that. You start going like, oh, I'm going to want to do things with my child and this, that, and the other. All of it changes. Yes. You know what I mean?
I realize the simplicity that's actually what I wear on my koozie because it's something that I'm really trying to apply heavily in my everyday because my mind can go wander all different types of places and I have to take 2 steps back and just remember the simple things and get back to the basics. So simplicity and even just the wardrobe t-shirt, shorts,
Yeah.
like type thing. It's something, even though I wish I would have read the fucking text messages, actually. Yeah. But simplicity is something I've really been trying to strive for and not try to overcomplicate things. And it's funny how complicated that actually is to do that.
Well, it's funny how complicated it is to get there. We fight it the whole way. We want things to be complicated.
Therapy is what got me there.
Yeah, therapy is good.
Do you go to therapy?
I have gone to therapy in my time over the last 20 something years. Yeah.
Okay, so you've done it at least.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's at least say. I tell people at least try it.
I've had 5 or 6 therapists.
Oh, so yeah, you
and my last one was like a hypnotherapist. Shout out to Cheryl.
I do. I love the different. I'm doing a lot of reading into different forms of medicine and just nutrition and such, and the different foundational medicine is. I'm really intrigued that one. I hate that I was not thinking like this a long time ago,
bro.
I hate that
you were drunk,
dog. I missed out on so much, like
yeah.
But I really like just how much that the mind has been opened up just talking to my therapist,
yeah,
and just talking to other people, and like it's just the reading and different things about how we can tap in. I've been trying to I went to acupuncture. I don't know. I didn't know even why I went, but I was like, I just want to try a different form of healing. Like on this journey, I'm just trying to see what all different things work and try to experiment with different things. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to acupuncture.
I've done acupuncture.
I fell asleep, so I don't really know
hey,
if it works.
You want to hear my acupuncture? I'll tell you really quickly.
Yeah.
The guy that did my acupuncture, like he would do all the things and then I'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then he was this older Asian gentleman and then he'd come back in the room and he'd go, "You fall asleep? Everybody fall asleep."
I feel like it's natural. And I was like,
yeah, because your body's relaxing. It's good. It's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing to be able to fall asleep and be able to get to a point in a relaxed state.
You might even be in trance. In that particular scenario, you might be in between states, like in a kind of hypnotherapy state, because you're really aware of kind of like where you're at. But you're like, you feel like you're asleep, you know?
I was about to say, honestly, it's I know I'm not asleep. Because, man, if I could hit REM sleep there, that would be nice, honestly. But as I've been experimenting with meditation, I realized, that was probably one of the coolest things that I remember doing. Have you ever experimented with breath work? I'm sure you probably have as a person. Dog, that was something we did in treatment when we had to lay down. I feel like everybody should do this, but probably they I don't know if everybody can. But, I went to a different place.
Yeah.
And I remember the last time I had ever felt anything like that was drug induced. It was from taking I can't even remember what it was, but it was something to take me to La La Land. And I was like, that was the first time I had ever gotten to a point of meditation and to a point of breath work and Zen to release that. And I was like, this is what it's like?
Well, your body finally relaxed.
And I was like, Doc, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I can do this naturally.
Yeah.
I can get to this form of higher thinking and higher level, naturally and being at a place of happiness while doing it without it having to be drug induced and snap out of it and go about my day. And so that is something I think I've been practicing a lot of yoga. Nice. I love yoga, man.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
I try to get my homies to go, man. And I wish, what's funny? I don't see any black men in yoga. I shout out to my homie Chaz with Austin Justice Coalition because he does a bro brunch, which is just it's like a thing on Sundays. Well, he was doing it on Sundays where a group of men get together to just congregate foundation, what we need to do more of. He did a yoga series where he had some people come do yoga, and it was a bunch of black men there doing yoga. I didn't get to make it to that one, but just to hear that. So every time I go to yoga, I always look around because anytime black men go anywhere, we always look around for our own and we give each other a head nod. It's
good to see it, yoga. Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
But I never see it though. Just like I never see black men in AA rooms, which is a whole different story. But I try to get my homies to go, and they always I would go. And my homie Zach, who lives in Portland now, so of course he lives in Portland, so he's gone to yoga with me a couple times. But dude, it's just so at the end of it when you get to do that meditation and to be able to sit in that space and like amongst other people and sit still and be able to feel that energy and be able to take your mind and sit still and be quiet with your presence and be present. Like, it's a different feeling. And not a lot of people can do that.
No. I mean, like,
I get excited when I talk about this.
No. I think you should be excited. It's hard to explain to people that haven't experienced it.
That's exactly what.
You know what I mean? And so, like, and it takes a while to get there, and it might come when you least expect it. So you have to keep repetitioning it, and then it happens. Like, you can't predict when your body will kind of let go. It's the repetition of doing it that it allows it to let go.
Yeah, for the longest time, I couldn't get there. Like, I couldn't have like a spiritual awakening.
Well, you wanted to get there.
That's probably why.
So
it's like when you go to the thrift store and want a shirt so bad to find an old shirt and a vintage shirt, and you never find that man shirt.
Because these high school kids overpick them and wear them in high school.
This last segment is brought to you by HeyJustBe.com. I believe that achieving balance in the mental, physical, and metaphysical aspects of your purpose by incorporating learning, serving, and creating can transform your life into one that you truly enjoy living. Want to know more? Go to www.heyjustbe.com.
Okay, so usually how I wrap up my podcast is talking how somebody takes care of themselves, but you just like went through like almost everything that you possibly do. You also work out, right?
So yeah, I work out. I eat. I'm a firm believer in like what you put in your body is how you're going to present yourself on a day to day.
Well, no, yeah, of course.
No shit.
Yeah.
But it took me the longest time to figure that out because in our culture, like we don't, unfortunately, growing up, like my mom always preached about eating well, but like that's not, everything's deep fried. We smother everything in stuff like high sodium, like salt. Like I don't eat red meat anymore. Like I've done a lot to try to figure out like, dog, the way that I thought that I was raised and how I was supposed to eat, that wasn't the right way. And so I changed my diet astronomically. Like and it's funny because I was talking to one of my buddies. He showed me what he did for his meal prep. And I was like, it had, he knows what I'm talking about when he sees this. It had like red beans and rice on it with smothered in gravy. It had like a chicken breast. I mean, it had like a grilled chicken. It was like some corn. And I'm like, dog. And he was like, yeah, my trainer told me that this is what I should be eating. And I was like, dog, where's your green leafy vegetables at? Where, like, you should be having some, like, quinoa. Let's get some sweet potatoes on there. Let's get some, like, there's so many different ways that you should be getting, like, and he's like, and I talked to my tutor. He's like, I don't know who told them that. But I was like, bro, but that's how our community thinks that they are supposed to eat when they see these plates that are posted on Instagram and there's all starches on there, like mac and cheese and mashed potatoes and some chicken that's baked on the side and some cornbread. Like, oh, I'm eating good tonight. No, you're not. Like, and so like,
you are, but you're not.
You're not. Yeah, you are. And it's, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not opposed to any of that, but like, I had to change like the whole lifestyle behind it. And I think like when I cut out red meat during COVID, that was the start of it. Like I eat a steak probably like once a month because my partner eats it. I'm on a burger odyssey now. That's when I eat burgers, but typically I'll try to have a turkey burger or a chicken burger. I'm surprised I didn't tell you to get one from P. Terry's, the chicken burger.
Yeah,
but
they're good.
They're good. So that's a big portion. Like when I say like I really watch what I put in my body, I'm realizing God gave me a temple and that I'm really trying to utilize it as a temple. But I have my vices, don't get me wrong. A lot of meditation, a lot of prayer. That's something I wasn't in tune with before. Me and my partner have been doing Social Dallas has been a big key for us, watching that on YouTube every Sunday. So investing in that. And then, the biggest thing for me is taking an hour each day. I carve out a healing hour. Like
for you.
For me. Guilt-free. Oftentimes, I maybe will record a piece for my YouTube at that time, just to kind of give, because it's
Do something creative.
Do something creative, because that for me is important to keep my creative juices flowing.
It's important for everybody.
It's important for everybody. And so oftentimes I'll give a quick word, just like what maybe my intention is for that healing hour. Maybe I'm reading something. Yesterday I was reading Jay-Z's book. I've been trying to do a lot more reading. Charlemagne the God, and I'm a big fan of Breakfast Club, so I listen to a lot of podcasts and such too. And they were talking about Nipsey Hussle's book list. Have you seen it at all?
No.
63 books on it. Nipsey Hussle. Kendrick also has a really good book list. And so I want to start the book list. And so Jay-Z's book, I don't think is on there, but that's my next mission, is to start Nipsey's book list and to finish those 63 books. And they're all books that from a different wide variety. Some of his historical books that unfortunately schools aren't allowing us to read anymore. But I think as I issue in a new life into there, I want to make sure that I'm in tune with my culture and the Black culture, and especially from a literature aspect. So reading that is in that list has a lot of those books on there. So
it's important.
It's important. So reading has been something that I've really been diving into a lot. And so carving out that healing hour has been crucial for me.
I mean, you're doing it, my man.
Honestly, people ask me, how am I doing it? And I honestly say, I am not doing it. My higher power is.
Well, there are bigger things than us that put us in motion and make things matter and stuff like that. And you're tapped into it now. You weren't tapped into it before.
Nah.
You can't be getting drunk and tapped into a higher power.
No,
you know,
yeah,
that's not the way that works. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna let you fly no plane after drinking a fifth. You know what I'm saying?
No, honestly. Oh, so I keep hitting.
No, you're good.
I actually want to get my pilot's license. That's one of the things that I want to achieve. Bucket list things that I've discovered. But yes, dog, I've given myself 3 foundational things, and if I check in with myself, I didn't give these things. That's just what treatment and such have. It's like spirituality aspect, my physical and my mental aspect. It's so simple.
Yeah.
But once again, simplicity, but we overcomplicate things and try. But I realize as long as I check those 3 boxes for me and fill my cup with those 3 every day, I can show up for other people.
That's right.
Daily, and be acts of service, and
Put your mask on first, dog. Right?
Yeah, and that's what I wasn't doing before. I wasn't putting my mask on first. I wasn't hitting the gym. I wasn't going to a meeting. I wasn't meditating. I wasn't taking the time for my fill my own cup. And now, like, that's the key for me every day. And I think that's the key to success, man.
Dude, hey, I appreciate you doing this. I ask everybody to give me a hug. I'm open.
Oh, dude, I love hugs, man. I'm a hugging guy.
You got to do heart to heart.
Right? Yeah, dog.
Good seeing you, my man.
Yes, this was great.